Before starting, make sure you have the Dyna-Star High Pressure Seal Kit, number 26B069, Instruction Manual 3A7519, and these tools. We're now ready to replace seals using the Seal Replacement Kit number 26B069, which includes 4 sub-kits: Throat Seal Kit, Piston Seal Kit, Priming Seal Kit, and the O-Rings Kit. Each of these sub-kits is grouped with the other pieces that install into the 3 different portions of the pump assembly, except for the O-Rings Kit, which will need to be separated. Now, we'll replace the seals and reassemble the pump. Starting with the O-Rings Kit, use the new large O-ring to replace the old O-ring face seal on the bottom of the pump outlet housing. Set aside the remaining 2 smaller O-rings for later. Use the Throat Seal Kit to replace the backup throat seal, and throat seal backup rings with new components. Make sure one backup ring is positioned on each side of the throat seal. And make sure the chamfer on the backup rings points away from the seal itself. The step on the spacer must point toward the backup rings. Reinstall the outlet housing adapter by lining up the hole in the adapter with the pin on the outlet housing. Use a 2-inch socket to reinstall the throat seal retainer nut. Tighten to within 150 to 165 foot-pounds or 204 to 223 Newton-meters of torque. Reinstall the air motor, in this preferred orientation, by sliding the displacement rod through the outlet housing. Replace and hand tighten the outlet housing adapter bolts. Replace the check ball between the displacement rod and fluid piston. For the next steps, we'll use the piston seal kit with the green piston seal. Remove the piston seal retainer, piston seal, and piston seal backup rings. Replace all with new parts. Make sure the chamfer on the piston seal backup rings points away from the seal. Reinstall fluid piston and connecting rod using 1 wrench on the displacement rod flat and a 15/16" socket on the connecting rod. Tighten to between 140 and 160 foot-pounds or 190 to 216 Newton-meters of torque. Finally, we'll use the priming seal kit with the yellow priming seal and the remaining 2 small O-rings from the O-rings kit. Note, the priming seal backup rings have 4 identification marks to distinguish them from the similar-sized piston backup rings. Remove and replace priming seal and backup rings. Again, make sure the new backup ring chamfers and identification marks face away from the priming seal. Replace the O-rings on seal retainer and hand tighten the seal retainer. Apply a thin layer of anti-seize lubricant to the male threads on the pump cylinder before reinstalling. Use a 1 13/16" socket to tighten to between 235 and 265 foot-pounds or 319 to 359 Newton-meters of torque. Use a 1 7/16" socket to tighten seal retainer to the pump cylinder assembly to between 100 and 110 foot-pounds or 136 to 149 Newton-meters of torque. Reinstall the inlet tube assembly. Start with the connecting rod in the down position to provide the best access to connect the shovel rod. Make sure the shovel rod stays inside the inlet cylinder. Use a 3/4 inch socket to tighten to 55 to 65 foot-pounds or 75 to 88 Newton meters of torque. Remove any excess grease from the inlet cylinder interior threads before reinstalling. Install inlet cylinder by hand. Use a 1 15/16 inch socket to tighten to between 75 and 85 foot-pounds or 102 and 115 Newton meters of torque. Reconnect muffler and air supply hose to the air motor. Apply air at a low pressure and cycle slowly several times. Remove air supply hose before tightening outlet housing adapter. Use a 15/16 inch socket to tighten outlet housing adapter bolts to between 50 and 55 foot-pounds or 68 and 74 Newton meters of torque. Replace mounting plate and the 4 mounting plate screws. Use a 1/8 inch hex key to torque to between 60 and 70 inch-pounds or 6.8 and 7.9 Newton meters. The Dyna-Star Air-Powered pump is ready to be put back into service.